Hi there, I'm Wiles Humphrey, the Fact Master. I'll tell you all the things you never knew you didn't know, and some that you probably do. Now, if you were to hear me say, I do solemnly swear that I shall faithfully execute the office of President of the United States and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States, then I'd be getting sworn in as President. Obviously, that'll never happen. But 45 presidents have said that. That oath started first with George Washington, and he said those 35 words on the 30th of April 1789. And George Washington became president unopposed. Everybody voted for him. He was like a founding father, and he's like the father of founding fathers. Nobody was going to stand in his way. He served 2 terms. He'd fought at the War of Independence and done very well. And he hated the British, even though his family were all from Essex in London. Second president was John Adams. And John Adams famously said, being a vice president is the most useless, pointless job in the world. You can't make any decisions, you can't do anything. All you can do is wait to see if your boss drops dead, and if he does, you can have his job. Eventually though, he became president, served 1 term. President number 3 was a sworn enemy of John Adams, Thomas Jefferson, and he served 2 terms, and he wrote, virtually single-handedly, the Declaration of Independence. I hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal and are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, among these life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The most famous paragraph in that document. And Jefferson was remembered that for many other things, and of course he's up on Mount Rushmore along with Lincoln and Washington and Roosevelt. President number 4 was James Madison. Now Madison declared war on Britain. He was only a little fellow, Madison. He's about 5'5", the shortest of all of them. But he declared war on Britain and George III. And this became known as the Second War of Independence and also the War of 1812. It lasted over 2.5 years. And of course, Britain lost. And the king became known as the last king of America, George III. President number 5 was James Monroe. Now there's been 8 presidents named James, but this one, James Monroe, famous for the Monroe Doctrine as it was called. He's also famous for not being related in any way whatsoever to Marilyn Monroe, which takes me on to president number 6, and that was John Quincy Adams, who was related to John Adams, the second president. In fact, he was his son. And because of that relationship, he became president. Not very good. Served just 1 term, and then he was out of office. In stepped number 7. Now this guy was ruthless. His name, Andrew Jackson. Now before he was president, Jackson had been involved in a gunfight. He fought a duel, pistols at dawn if you will, against a guy called Charles Dickinson. Now Dickinson fired first, and his aim was untrue and it missed. And at that point, normally, the other guy would fire his gun into the air, they'd shake hands, walk away, and they'd never argue with each other again, ever. But this is Andrew Jackson. He wasn't like anyone else. He said, look, he's tried to kill me. He fired his gun. I could have been killed. So Jackson aimed his gun, shot it, killed Dickinson outright. And he didn't care. It was frowned upon, but it didn't stop him becoming the 7th president. He was also, while president, he was the first president ever to face an assassination attempt. 30th of January 1835. A man walked up to him with a pistol and fired his gun twice, but on each time the gun failed to fire. So Jackson got his cane and beat this man half to death, left him on the floor. Jackson's men picked up the gun, had a look at it, pulled the trigger, and it fired into the sky. But this Jackson was a lucky guy as well. He'd survived 2 attempts on his life with a shotgun, and he was able to walk away. He didn't take any nonsense off anyone. But what he did today, 28th of May in 1830, was signed the American Indian Removal Act. And this was a terrible thing, a real stain in American history. This meant that by law, his law, he could move thousands, tens of thousands of Indians from their homeland and send them thousands of miles away. Well, of course, there was a lot of bloodshed because of this. And thousands of Indians lost their lives, men, women, and children. It became known as the Trail of Tears. So bad. Of course, American soldiers lost their lives as well. But they were doing what Jackson told them to do, and had little choice, but neither did the Indians in the end. And all Jackson wanted was their land, and he didn't care how he got it. God help anyone who got in Jackson's way. Now, he served 2 terms. Now, some presidents were great for various reasons. This fellow was great for different reasons than everyone. He was ruthless and cruel. If he was great for anything good, he would have been on Mount Rushmore. But he wasn't. And as of the 45 presidents, he was probably the most ruthless of a lot of them. And that is a fact. Now listen, thanks very much for watching. Please subscribe to my channel, because I'll be back soon with a load more stuff for you. And that is a fact. Cheers.